Howdy out there. Hi, it's just us. And if you're watching us, we thank you for coming back again. We're getting some great followers, primarily because we're having great guests that we interview, and we really love that you're still watching us. We have a very exciting guest today, but I'll introduce us first, and then I'll tell you all about her. Or I will tell you some about her, and she can tell you the rest. I am Sandra Baskin. I'm hosting today. My co-host, Daryl Anisfeld, is here. The other co-host, Sandy Gulliver, is also here. And then we have our gal, Sarah Clark. Hello, Sarah. Sarah is a writer, director, producer, educator. And if there's anything else to throw in there, you can do it. We are so happy to have you. And just for the audience to know, we know Sarah really well. We've taken a gazillion, some of us have taken a gazillion classes from her. And then we'll mention a film later on that she wrote, and I'll explain that then. Sarah, we're going to be asking you some questions, and I'll start with this one. No, I'm going to ask two. Did I miss anything there in all the many things you do? And, I should have said, and owner of Compass Casting and The Forge. Okay. If I missed anything, please add them in. And then tell us how it's been for you this last year with the upside down COVID world. Please.
Sure. So as you mentioned, I'm the casting director and owner of Compass Casting. And I guess it was midway through March, April, May, and half of June, nothing happened. Everything was closed down. I have never had so little work in my life, in my professional career. And as of July, everything started to slowly kind of kick off. And we had to figure out how to run casting sessions without actors in the space, kind of kicking them to the wolves, saying like, I hope you figure out how to do camera, and hoping that people were able to send in tapes on time and get those tapes to clients. So for the first several months, there was nothing that happened. And a friend of mine got in touch with me. He's a producer at a production house. And he said, okay, so buckle up. We've got 6 months to do a year's worth of work. Otherwise, our budgets get hacked to pieces at the end of the year. Wow. So we were busier than I have ever been. And so from a professional standpoint, like, it was good for the casting office and that we were very busy. It was really rough because we were trying to reinvent the wheel and help actors along, and trying to get actors into classes as far as like, well, we need to teach you how to do self-tapes because they're really not good, or we need to help you understand Zoom callbacks because they're really not good. So, it's tough to complain because I have a job and my business has survived, which was great, but it was very difficult professionally to, kind of keep the ship moving and making sure that actors were still being taken care of and that we were still an advocate for actors. And then creatively, I have 2 films currently in post, and they just ground to a halt, like trying desperately to keep my head above water professionally. And personally, having a global pandemic and everything else just kind of weighing on you, it was very difficult for me to be creative. And I know a lot of people took that time and they were able to be more creative, and they really saw this as a conduit of, finally, I have spare time. But keeping 2 businesses above water it took all of me.
I bet.
I'm so fortunate to have a very supportive partner, but through all this, she lost her job as well. So it was like, my little dog and pony show, trying desperately to like keep the family afloat and like trying to keep the businesses afloat. So I wasn't creative at all. And finally, as things are sort of rounding into the end of the first quarter of 2021, that creativity has started to bloom a little bit in a way that just was not there. There was no directing, there was no editing. It was just trying to survive. There was no thriving, just surviving.
And the flip side of that is we all had to try and learn to do those things that you were trying to teach us all. And it took some time, actually. The self-taping was not easy.
Yeah.
equipment to
I
buy,
mean,
and so
you
forth.
guys are already, the acting is it's not an easy job. And then suddenly it's like, all right, now be a cinematographer and an editor and an
Yeah,
IT person and figure
yeah.
it out, so it's not, you were not dealt an easy hand. I had a client who was she worked for a very big company, and she was not kind, but she was right. She said the businesses who didn't figure out how to move online failed, and the actors who can't figure out how to move online will too. It was like,
yeah,
she's not wrong, but God, she could have been nicer about it, so
you
it's
could put a little sugar on that. Yeah.
right. Absolutely. So, I think as tough as you guys have, been hit, as hard as this has been, so many actors have really figured it out and been able to make it work. And somehow, like, content has continued to be created.
And we did some of that, gals. Yeah,
One
Sandy.
thing here in Chicago, all the actors are so helpful to each other, and we taught each other how to do this. Where did
Yeah,
you
we
get
did a lot of that.
where did you buy it? And I have a group called Showgirls, and we haven't been going anywhere for the last year, but we still meet via Zoom, and we did a lot of that sharing of information via Zoom with these other Chicago women who are all in our same age group. We compete with each other for roles, but we're also friends. So it's working.
A lot of what is a ring light, and
Yeah.
how do you put your lighting over here, and what is a softbox, and where do you put your oh yeah, a lot of it.
Mhm.
But we got pretty good at it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The only
we helped each
thing I
other, like
think that
Sandy said. Pardon?
But Daryl,
I think that what I'm missing at least is to have some direction, because even though
That's
I
brutal.
have someone taping me, I can critique myself, but it's not a good thing. And
It's
what
not.
I'm really missing is having that contact of it saying, why don't you try? What about? And
Yep.
going through all those different options in your head and trying to get them all into one or two takes, I have found have been very difficult for me.
It's not just you. I mean, so many actors are sending us take 15, take 16, and it's like, one, you're never going to get that in a casting office once you guys come back into the real world, but you're sure as shit not going to get it on set. It's never going to happen. So trying to, in the same way that you would in a casting office, trying to limit yourself to 2 takes is really going to help you out. But the thing I've noticed through this is that so many actors are so hard on themselves, and being able to give them direction, it only comes in callbacks, because what's happening is that our clients have to have everything that fast.
Yeah.
We had a week where we booked 24 roles, and 6 of them were booked off headshots because they were like, we don't have time to get footage. We don't have time to wait on footage because it takes longer. Like, you guys could have an audition and have the audition the next day, and then they would have footage by the end of the day. But it's 3 times that amount of time now. And so often what's happening is that actors are sending us these crazy takes that we're like, wow, that is not what I would have done. And we don't have the option to help them in the room. We don't have the option to say, like, okay, here's what we want. So what my office has started doing is just saying, here's what we want you guys to think about, with narrative specifically, like being hyper specific with the direction and giving a lot more information than we would usually give in the room, because I want to see what actors do. I want to see what happens when you just kind of let them be. And then I can take what they've given me and mold it take by take. But now it's like, we only have so much time. And if they're already giving us auditions, but we don't have callbacks, the direction in the room is, I cannot wait for it to be safe enough to just like bring actors back to be like, well, that was a choice. Let's try something totally different. And give them the thing that the director has asked for. Because like, I don't want actors to stop bringing that creativity. But at the same time, I know what my clients need.
Sarah, do you think we should maybe be having each other check our tapes?
No.
No.
The blind leading the blind. I
Yeah.
mean, you're not going to know what the clients want, and like sometimes the clients don't know what the clients want. And so it's usually casting figuring out, okay, they said X, Y, and Z, which means they really just mean Y. So we will figure out how to get them that.
Yeah.
And you guys will be like, maybe you should try Q. It's like, girl, So no, I don't recommend you guys do that. And it
Okay.
adds time that you don't have.
Well, some of us did not do a lot of auditioning because we weren't willing to go on set. But we've been refining our
Fair.
skills in that area in the meantime, because we did the Showgirls and we did Clyde and we did, we're doing this. And so we're getting close, but people that were willing to go on set, they've been at this for a while, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know some actors who they didn't stop acting the whole time.
Choice.
Plenty of them, yeah.
Choice. Everybody's choice. Yeah. We're so close to the end now. Well, months maybe, but still we're so close. Some of us didn't want to be taking any chances. Girls?
Yeah. That's what I am finding.
But by April, all three of us, for example, will be 95% protected. Yeah. And then we still have to be careful. We still have to wear masks and protect other people, because everything we're reading tells us, or listening to tells us, we can actually carry it in our nose, even though we're protected. So we got to keep protecting other people. What else is happening for you?
Wow. We're on a lot of projects right now. The office is on 3 feature films, a documentary, 5 commercials. I mean, it's just
Is that all?
busy.
Oh, gee.
That's all. Nothing big.
Just a little of this, a little of that. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing crazy.
Oh, well, I'm excited for you. And I don't know about everybody else, but for me, I tried to support small businesses around, and I think you got some of that too, didn't you? People helping with small business. Yeah. Smaller business. Well, now you're not sounding so small with all that going on.
We're still the little casting office that could. It's crazy
Yeah.
that the majority of the casting offices in the city, I mean, some of them have been casting for longer than I've been alive. So they are the queens of Chicago for a reason. But yeah, we're still the little casting office that could. I'm very fortunate that we made it through all of this.
My agency's not back in their office yet. They're all still working virtually.
My
Are
agency's
you-
not back yet either.
I think a lot of places won't have offices after this, is what,
Oh, yeah.
the times that I text with agents and stuff, they're like, there's no point as long as you have internet. Like, there are plenty of people who like went back home to their coasts, or they went back to wherever they need to be, and they're not, if I didn't need to see actors and teach actors, like, we'd get rid of the space. But like, eventually this will open back up and things will be, there will be things for the rest of forever. Taped auditions will be a thing. That's just all there is to it.
Yeah.
For if a client gets in touch with me with a teeny little budget, I can say like, hey, why don't you take that money that you were planning on paying us and like redirect that into your talent budget so you actually get somebody good.
Yeah.
So we'll take a smaller cut and make sure that they get taped auditions. Or like, if perfect example is like, we're on a film right now where there's literally a kid who has like a line. And if we were in person, that kid would take time to bring in that we could use to see more options for our lead. So for the rest of forever, like, taped auditions will be a thing. They're not going anywhere at all. Like, they're just not. So, although I would love to say like, yeah, we could totally keep this virtual. There are plenty of options for people to use tape, but I really cannot wait for actors to be back in the room.
Well, it's
How about
probably a
your
good
teaching?
idea that we've learned then.
Mm-hmm.
Because part of our forever, how did you call it? Our forever, from now on, if it's going to be part of it, it's a good thing we know how to do all this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Saved on gas money though. Are you still teaching?
Yeah. I'm still teaching. I'll continue to teach, probably for the rest of forever. For the rest of my life, I'm sure I'll teach. I really love teaching. I think there was a time where I taught 3 times a week, but man, I love being home with my family. So I think I'll probably, especially once the businesses recover from all this, I'm sure I'll go back to.
That was the shortest 15 minutes of my life.
Oh, wow. That was a short.
You talk forever and forever, or whatever it was you said, for the rest of forever.
The rest of forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now would be a good time to talk about our film, if we may.
Sure.
To everybody out there that's listening to us. Sarah wrote a script primarily for Daryl and I, Daryl and me. And excuse me, and we asked her to please include Sandy Gulliver. So she put in a fabulous role for Sandy. And it's called Killing Irma. And of all the times in the world, we went out to festivals in 2020. We started submitting in November 2019. And then, of course, we got all excited because we were all going to pack a bag and go to Kansas City when they took us in. And I was waiting for Toronto because I've got family there and blah, blah, blah.
And I bought 2 new dresses.
And that she hasn't worn. Yeah. And then we realized lickety split that we weren't going anywhere. But they all got
And
creative.
somehow, still through all of this, you guys won a ton of awards. Like
19.
you know, like the film
Not counting.
altogether won a bunch of awards. Like
Yeah.
it's wild.
Yeah, true. But in part, that was due to the various festivals that got creative, went online with their festivals, and at least made a few bucks from from tickets for people to see it. And anyway, thought maybe you would, thank you so much to Sarah first and to my co-hosts. And it was a wonderful, wonderful experience. And we think we're going to maybe have a session, just the three of us talking about it. But anyway, Sarah, give us a little bit of how that went for you and tell us about where you were when you wrote the script. Actually, it was a scene between Daryl and I, 2-minute scene.
Yeah, you guys were in a class with me and you said, well, we want a script that was hyper specific. You were like, we want something that's funny, but it needs to be pretty dry funny, and we want it to be serious so we can show some range. And I wrote you this like 2-page scene, this back and forth, and it was just this little germ of an idea. And I hadn't had a vacation in years, and was at the end of a bad relationship, was like, I'm getting out of the country. So I bopped over to Dublin for 10 days and sat in the same cafe and wrote this script that started out as like a 58-page script, and cut it down and cut it down and cut it down. And I thought you guys just wanted a script. I didn't know what was going to happen with it. But then, I handed you the script and I said, here you go. And you said, great. How much is it going to be? Great. You do it. And it was just like, I would have written something a lot easier to produce.
Yeah.
It probably wouldn't have been so many locations, would have simplified it quite a bit. But it was honestly like figuring out how to do it when I realized like, oh shit, we need to make this a real living, breathing thing, You
had to cut it a lot too. You did.
It was 58 pages. Yeah, it ended up being, I think it was 14 pages when we shot it, but it was, 2/3. Yeah, it was gone by the time we actually shot. So yeah, it was 4 days, and I'm so lucky because I had a really good team around me. It's really difficult to like produce and direct in general. I've had to do it on other projects where it's just, me, and you have crew and you have people that want to be supportive, but without knowing what they need to do. I was so fortunate to have a killer crew on Killing Irma. They were absolutely phenomenal. And so we got, from camera to art direction to our first AD, everybody was exceptional. So just being able to shoot such a lofty script in 4 days was amazing. And then our insane editors turned it around so fast. And, they're not making a ton of money. They did this in their off time. And we were super fortunate that it has like an original score. And we just worked with really great people. And I think the fruits of all of that labor paid off just by being accepted and screening at so many festivals, even though they were virtual. Hopefully some of them that moved to 2021 will be live. But I think, honestly, I'm thrilled with how it turned out. It's unfortunate that it happened in a year that none of us got to, in person, reap those benefits.
Your crew was amazing, absolutely amazing. As you said, top to bottom, every single one of them made all the difference. And it was 4.5 days, not 4 days.
Was it?
Oh, yeah.
4.5?
Oh, probably because Daryl and I had to get together in one spot for the first empty. Anyway, that's the way I remember it. And I certainly could be wrong, but it was quite an experience. Sandy, you really had fun with this too, didn't you?
I loved it. And I still cannot believe that you two said you have to put me in a role for Sandy. That,
Oh, of
well,
course.
I've never had people do that for me before. So I just thank you for your friendship.
Well, we love you, and you're a hell of an actor, and so of course we wanted you in it, and it made it perfect because we're the three whatever we are, musketeers,
Whatever we
the
are.
three golden girls or whatever. Sarah, what's coming up? Anything special you want to tell us before we wrap this up?
And
You pretty much have told us.
yeah, it's really busy right now. I will be very interested to see what the rest of 2021 holds for this industry. I think as people figure out how to do more and more safely, it should be a very interesting year.
Well, for our audience, we will post, we're on Facebook, Just Us with Sandra Baskin, Daryl Annisfeld, and Sandy Gulliver. And we had to put the names in because they wouldn't let us use Just Us. So, and we're on Instagram with a pretty big following now. And we will put your information, your connect information, your school, Compass, Forge, all that stuff. Well, Sandy she takes care of Facebook and she can get that information in there too. Like you need to get busier.
Couldn't hurt. I'll get more staff. It'll be great.
Of course.
Well, by May 1st, there's a promise that we'll all be inoculated. So it would be, it's just, this is a miracle part, what's going on right now.
Mhm.
Yep. So let's say to everybody out there, if you're on the fence about getting your vaccine, please slide off the fence onto the side of getting it and help everybody out. Right, ladies?
I'm ready to go back to work.
Yep.
I'm ready
me
too.
Mhm.
I think we're all ready and we're happy that Sarah's been working so well. And should we say congratulations?
Sure.
Ah, Sarah's engaged to be married.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Sarah. And
Thank you.
to your sweet partner. And come the beginning of September, well, she will no longer be single.
Amazing.
Are you going to keep
I will
your
no
name?
longer. No, I was going to say I will no longer be Sarah Clark.
Oh, you're going to change your name?
Oh, absolutely.
No. How can you do that when with a,
I mean, I won't. I probably won't professionally,
yeah.
but like personally, beat it.
Yeah. I got that part, but professionally, we all know you as Sarah Clark, and
Right.
we
Right.
can't thank you enough for joining us, our sweet
Of course.
friend,
Thank you for having me.
for sure.
Yes,
It was
thank you.
wonderful,
Especially
and-
since we knew you were busy.
yeah.
You hit me at the perfect time on a Sunday. It was perfect.
Right.
That's good. That's when we're recording our shows on Sunday. But by the way, everybody, we go live Wednesday afternoons around noon or shortly after.
Central Time.
Up Central Time, right? Hopefully we're getting, by the way, all those awards that you allowed us to get with your wonderful work, Sarah, came from more countries than just the United States.
Mhm.
Yeah, England, Canada, and a few other places. Thank you again so much. We're going to carry on and say toodaloo.
Bye.
Thank you, Sarah. Wonderful to see
Bye,
you.
guys.
Bye, everybody. Thanks, Sarah. Thanks so much.
Of course. Bye, guys. Have a good day. See ya.
Too.